Hello and welcome to another episode of Sports and Songs podcast. We're on season 5, episode number 18. This is the sports edition. Today is March 4th, 2024. Andy, how are you?
I'm good. I got the other day my new Mets cup.
Oh,
Yep.
the nice Mets mug. I like it.
Wait, hold on. Let me
Okay.
fix something here. Hold on. I gotta. Where is that? Yeah, that's right there. Is that better? Here we go.
Yes. Okay. So a little mirror, the flip flop. Okay. So it's the Mets home run.
Every time they hit a home run, the big apple pops up in center field.
Is that a coffee mug?
Yes.
I like it. That looks sharp. So,
Yes.
Andy,
Was
we're
ever a
probably
Mets-
going to have some Mets talk tonight on the show, right?
So I'm gonna have this mug here during the season with a Mets game on. We're doing showing around. Then I'll just go. And they hit a home run.
Then we'll know. So
From
we got
our
sports.
friends at the 7 Line.
That's his. Oh, okay. It's official merchandise
From
on
the
the 7 Line.
.com. Yep.
We've got sports today. We got the Big Ten announced the women's basketball tournament at Target Center. Brackets are out. Men are another week away. High school wrestling's done. Lots going on. All right, let's start off with the trivia question. It's going to be baseball related. This is a good one. I like this one when I saw it. It's in Major League Baseball between the year 1965 and 1990.
Okay.
Span. So a 25-year span.
That covers the 80s. That was our wheelhouse.
Yes. There was only one ball player in the big leagues, both National or American League, to hit 50 home runs, to hit the 50 home run plateau. And it wasn't Brady Anderson of the Orioles that did it in the 90s, but this was between 65 and 90. Only one player did it, even reached the 50 home run plateau in a single season. Only one. That's a quarter of a century.
Yeah.
So
and now you can hit 50 and you'll be third.
It's true. So we'll get to the answer at the end, but I thought it was an interesting question for the trivia. It's also, we'll get to it at the end. So let's bring up some sports.
Yes.
I'm sure we have lots to chat about.
As I say in the WWE, it's Tiffy time.
Oh, my.
Local girl. We'll talk about some stuff going on WWE. They were just in Australia a couple weeks ago for a big pay-per-view, and she was part of a match they call the Elimination Chamber.
Okay.
They have 6 people in it. 2 start, and the other 4 are in these pods or in the quote-unquote chamber, and you're released out, and it's in a big cage, She is technically what they call a heel or the bad guy.
Okay.
The crowd was cheering her and loving her. Everything she did, they thought was great.
Okay.
When she got eliminated, the bullshit chant came out. So that's how much she had. In wrestling term, it's called she was over, meaning the crowd was digging her. She was it. So, backstage reaction to Tiffany Stratton's huge fan response has been revealed. Despite Tiffany Stratton now joining the main roster in February, the former NXT Women's Champion already has the support of the WWE fan base. Her popularity became apparent at Elimination Chamber when the Australian crowd loudly cheered for Stratton and started chanting bullshit when her elimination from the Elimination Chamber match. The positive reaction to Stratton also carried over to her match against Naomi in Glensdale, Arizona in the latest episode of SmackDown. And this is all per Fightful Select. She is on the SmackDown brand, which is on Friday nights here locally. And The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, is also on that brand. Now, as you know, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, everybody loves him. Everybody knows who he is. Everybody's in awe when they see him. He came up to her. He goes, "Hey, I saw your match." She goes, "Hi, my name is," and he goes, "I know who you are." So he's been so when The Rock knows who you are and he's noticed your work already, it just make your Hall of Fame plaque now.
Well, it's going to be fun to watch.
So it's kind of nice seeing a local girl do good. The McNaughton Cup, which is given out to the conference champion, went to the Bemidji State Beaver men's hockey team this year. Won the division. There it is. They beat the Tommies. They beat the Michigan State Huskies. Mankato State.
Wow.
All the others there that are rah, rah, rah. And now I'm just showing the first round of the playoffs is the best of 3.
Okay.
It's like a fit on one screenshot. I just put down Sunday's game 3 matchups if necessary. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, best of 3. Then after that, it's top 2 seeds and the top seeds, and then you go into the NCAA tournament after that, winding up at the X. So Beavs have a chance. They go against Ferris State, which is the 8th seed. So I know you got to play the games. If you play them on paper, they should walk through that one. There's Ferris State right there,
Okay.
But again, that's why we play the games. Michigan State is your Big Ten champions. And here's a Big Ten hockey tournament. Yeah, for hockey, Notre Dame's okay being in the Big Ten, not football, but God forbid.
Nice. Okay, it didn't advance yet, it looks like.
No, the games just start this week. So it's...
I mean, the slide, sorry.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, so there's the Big Ten tournament. Michigan and Notre Dame, the 4-5. The winner goes on to play number 1. Wisconsin and Ohio State. Minnesota, Penn State, and Minnesota's the 3 seed. So best of 3, that goes single elimination after that, kind of like in the other conference. All games will take place at the higher seed. Date subject to change. North Dakota Sioux, or Hawks, or Chicken Hawks, or whatever they're called now. They won the Penrose Cup. Now, their playoffs don't start yet. They got another weekend to go here, but they've clinched enough where they are the champs. So congrats to the Chicken Hawks. And then they just have an 8-team tournament that starts March 15th, just your basic 8-team format right there. The WCHA, which is the gals, they're already a couple weeks into it. Here's their stuff. They call it the Quick Trip WCHA Final Face-Off at Ritter Arena. BSU already got bounced. They're down to their Final 4, which is Friday. There's your matchups. Duluth and Ohio State, Minnesota and Scotty on Fox 9+. Watch those on Friday night. High school, boys hockey, state tourney. Here we go with, as the Canadians say, the A group. Hermantown, number 1. There's a surprise. War Road 2, St. Cloud Cathedral 3. Montevideo 4, Orono 5. And New Ulm, Northfield, and Alexandria area are your other participants in the tournament there. And because I'm a reporter, I have to say this. Here's the AA bracket. Edina, the 1 seed. Chanhassen, the 2 seed, who beat Minnetonka. There, I said it. So, go Centennial.
Chan got snuck into that and went deep into the state football tournament.
What are they feeding with that school out there?
And now
the football, the hockey.
Out of nowhere.
I'm going to put an investigation into the food program out there. I think they're pumping them up with something.
Wow, that's interesting stuff.
I'm going to put my own investigative team on it. And here's the Big Ten tournament. Gals. First games will be on the Peacock. Excuse me. Northwestern and Purdue, Rutgers and the Gophers on Wednesday. Then you move over Illinois, Maryland. Nebraska plays the winner of Northwestern, Purdue. Wisconsin, Penn State. Then Michigan will host the winner of, or be the home team in the winner of the Rutgers, Minnesota game. Ohio State's the 1 seed, Iowa 2, Indiana 3, Michigan State 4. So they all wait on Friday for that. So those first 4 teams, like I said, Northwestern, Purdue, Rutgers, and Minnesota. If you go in 5 days, you'll be a Big Ten champs. I think it's happened in some of the conferences, maybe not ours. I know some of the teams have played 5 games and made the finals. That's asking a lot, 5 in 5 days. I'm not saying stretch it out over an 8-day period because I know you're crunched for time, but stretch it out over an 8-day period. There, I said it. And like I said, the men's tournament is next weekend again at the Target Center. WNBA. Couple things here. Now we're going to start talking about some things. I might lose some friends, but
The draft?
I didn't get in here to make friends. There is the mock draft right now for the WNBA. Caitlin Clark won because Caitlin declared. Now, let me make that point clear. This is her 4th year. You really can't come out early in women's basketball, but she could have played another year because of the COVID. But she says, no, I'm coming out. Kind of like Paige Beckers is playing a 5th year. Some others are playing that 5th year. Caitlin's coming out. Caitlin Clark this year in NIL money made $1 million. The most she can make her first year in the WNBA is $250,000.
Okay.
So some people are going, well, why wouldn't you stay in college, make more NIL money? And all I gotta say is, hey, genius, when you're pro, you can still make advertising money.
Yep.
Why not make a little more on your game check and make that much more because you're a pro now? So she set a record 155 3-point field goals. 155 3-point field. Yeah, I said that right. Single season record. Fever season tickets have already doubled in price when Caitlin announced she's coming out. It was a really bad Photoshop picture of her in an Indiana Pacers uniform or Indiana WNBA uniform. So there you go there. Now, a couple other things I was looking up here. Whoops. When comparing her to the Pete Maravich numbers, and I'm not taking away what she did again, incredible. She passed Pete Maravich. Pete Maravich had 3,667 points. He did that in 3 years because at that time, freshmen weren't allowed to play.
Okay.
So he averaged 43.8 points a game. He averaged 13 free throws a game attempts, making 6 of them. Caitlin Clark's made over 500 3-pointers in her career. So that's an extra 500 points right there because Pete didn't have a 3-point line.
Okay.
So, again, not taking away from what she did, but it was like, well, boys, some of these kids might play a 5th year to do it and everything else. Maravich did that in 3 years. So, there.
Pistol Pete.
But speaking of stuff storming the court, Jay Bills has finally stepped up from ESPN. Court storming should be banned, he says. He says, if you want to stop it, they should stop it tomorrow. You don't have to stop court storming. One time, all you have to do is once, and then you're on the court. Don't let them off. Just say, you're all detained, and then give them all citations or arrest them if you want to. Now, the only reason he's saying this is because it happened at Duke, and one of his little Dookie buddies got hurt or bumped into. Before, Jay Billis didn't care. Then it happened at Duke, and now it's an issue. He wants them arrested.
Now, once again, it's Andy, you bring up a good point because it's consistency is the thing we constantly harp on here.
Yep.
If you have a problem with it, be consistent. If you don't have a problem, be consistent. But it's the wiffle waffle back and forth is what really grinds our gears here at the station.
He never said boo about it until it happened to a Duke player. Now it's a big deal.
Yep.
Some more sports notes. Here's a fun fact for you. I was going to put this as an 80s sports fact, but Mariano was 90s and part of Nolan's was the 80s. Mariano Rivera, his career, 1,283.2 innings, 1,173 strikeouts, 998 hits allowed. Nolan Ryan, after turning 40 years old, 1,271 by 2/3 innings, So 12 less innings. 1437 strikeouts. So 250 more strikeouts and gave up 65 less hits. 933.
Jeez.
That was after Nolan turned 40 compared to Mariano's career. Not saying what Mario done was bad. Mariano put up great numbers. Nolan did that after 40.
It's just phenomenal.
In the Nolan Ryan's career, here's one stat that not a lot of guys can say. Okay, Ricky Henderson could say it. Nolan Ryan had more stolen bases than home runs. 3 stolen bases, 2 home runs. Not a lot of guys can say that. So, I was drinking and doing some thinking the other day. Caleb Williams made $10 million in 2 seasons in college. Now, we've talked about this. This is keeping guys in, like I said with Caitlin. Why not come out and make double dip, But I got thinking this NIL money. If these guys back in the day when it was the Catholics against the convicts, Notre Dame and Miami, can you imagine if they had NIL money for those guys? Prime time. Ray Lewis, Dwayne Johnson was on those Hurricane teams. Michael Irvin, some of the guys on the Catholics. Can you do the NIL deals for those guys back then? Oh my word. The commercials would have been off the chain, as they say.
Yes.
They would have been, if we only knew then what we know now. And that is kind of part of your homework. Just think of all those fun things it could have been. Go back. Your homework is go back. ESPN did a 30 for 30 on the convicts versus the criminal, or Catholics versus the convicts. Some kid just made up that shirt just for giggles to wear, and he sold quite a few. It's pretty good. Not very often I say ESPN watch it, but go back and watch that one. It's your homework. D1 baseball, top 25 are out. A lot of these schools you've never heard of because they're just baseball schools, like Dallas Baptist at number 25. So, got to watch those Dallas Baptists. Delano A's have changed their logo. And if you go to their Delano Athletics page, they explain the meaning behind the moose. Pretty cool little story there. So, I kind of like that logo. Not as cool as Watertown's or Waconia's, but it's cool. Speaking of grinding gears, Dan.
Uh-oh.
I had a lot of time on my hands this weekend to find stuff, and boy, this really grinds my gears. Sting had his last match last night in AEW. He's good buddies with Scott Hall. He wanted Scott Hall to come there to be at his last match. Because of his contract with WWE, he couldn't. You can't be on the other guy's show. I'm getting so sick of that. If you worked for Pepsi-Cola for 30 years, and because of cutbacks, you had to go to Coca-Cola for the last 10, I'm pretty sure your friends from Pepsi can come to your retirement party.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. We've all been behind the curtain now. It's not 50 years ago. They know each other in different groups? Yes, we all know they all know each other. Why couldn't you let them go? I don't get that. It's crap. Grinds my gears. Max Kenrick, pitcher for the Mets. Another starter's down. Left hamstring injury. It's our second starter to go down this spring. I'm not happy. Syndergaard still hasn't been signed. Still looking at Mets are signing him. It might be just out of the bullpen, but Syndergaard will probably be a Met again, I hope. Please, God.
Thor.
Here's the World Series odds. Twins are up there, $2,000. Plus 2,000. Mets are plus 5,000. So there you go. There's your odds. Enjoy them. Save these. We'll check them in All-Star break and then in October and see where everybody sits. Mets and Red Sox are both at 5,000 plus 5,000. That bothers me. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
Yes.
Scott Bradley put this on his X account or Twitter account or whatever you call it. It says, just a single. Why has a single become so underappreciated? Exit velocity and home runs seem to get all the attention. Show me a player with a knack for stroking a single with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, and I'll show you a player I want on my team. It's players like that. That's why I love watching town ball, college ball, Legion ball, because you don't see more than 2 homers a game. You see the base hits, you see the strategic fielding, the advanced bases, move runners over. You see small ball, and that is, to me, I love watching small ball. I agree with this guy. I'm tired of exit velocity and angles and how far it went. Either you hit a home run or you didn't. Either you got a base hit or you didn't. I don't care about your exit velocity. I don't care about your WAR plus or your app or whatever other stats you've made up to make guys sound better. I want my old school box score back, and I want you to get off my yard there.
Now, I wonder if it would be nice to see as the season went on, the top leaders in the American League and National League for runners in scoring position batting average.
Well, one stat they got rid of is they got rid of game-winning RBI.
Yep.
Why do you not keep that? We got to keep all your wins against replacements and everything else. Game-winning RBIs, this is important to me.
Yeah, so runners in scoring position like this, especially with 2 outs, it's good stuff. I mean, this is what some players thrive at, and some players are repeatedly can't get the job done, regardless of how good or how big paid they are.
Yeah.
In a big position like that, and they end up grounding out, ending the inning, striking out.
Trying to hit it out of the park.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. Yeah, yep. And baseball, it's all about the rally. I mean, it's all about piling on and having a big inning.
Yeah, it's got one more thing before I'm all done with my bit here. I know last week before we started, we mentioned how Ole Anderson passed away. Well, a couple of days after that, Virgil, the bodyguard for $1 Million Man, passed away. Mike Jones. Nice guy. I heard a lot of nice things about him. The one knack on him was he came on as a bodyguard, as a character's bodyguard, because he was built. He was a big man. Couldn't wrestle to save his life. Just didn't get it. It's not everybody's bit. But not being a good talker, but having a nice build, he played the bodyguard role perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
I know his health got real bad there at the end. A lot of people got ripped at him. He'd go like Comic-Cons and for autographs, and no one would want his autograph. So it's kind of hard to, you feel kind of bad for the guy. But Ted DiBiase said in an interview this week that if you ever saw Virgil at a Comic-Con, he goes, make sure your table's next to mine so we sit by each other. Because that way more people get his autograph than if he just sat there by himself. He didn't say that, but we all knew what he was getting at. But his health was deteriorating at the end. Thoughts and prayers to his family. I always kind of liked Virgil. He was kind of a good humor, I thought, for the time. But that is all I have, sir. That is my bits and pieces for today.
Well, I've got to grind my gears section here for you, Andy, and I'd like to get your thoughts on this.
Fire away.
This is a personal thing. It just came out today. I read it in the Minnesota Twins. The Twins signed Carlos Santana, not the singer, but the DH first baseman.
Yes.
He's always worn 41. Gets to the Twins. Joe Ryan is 41.
Yes.
Gets to the dugout, the clubhouse. He goes, hey, you want my jersey? You're the man. You can have it. And they said, well, okay, timeout. Nike's doing the new jerseys this year. All the jerseys, the bottoms, the tops. Fans are complaining they don't like them. They don't like the way they look, their feel. You could see through. They're kind of goofy looking.
You can see too much.
But it is what it is. Nike has the rights to the jerseys for, I don't know if it's a 3-year, 5-year deal, whatever it is. They have the rights so much that they said, Joe Ryan, you can't give that jersey away. There's a penalty instead of just swapping the jerseys for the right number that you want, Nike says there's a $250,000 one-time fee. Like if Joe Ryan wanted to give the jersey number to Santana, he would have to pay $250,000. So they're trying to strip away all the midseason changes, the spring training changes, because I don't know if it's the fact that Nike's got to reprint the jerseys, or now they got to resell, more Joe Ryan jerseys at the Twin store with different number, and the new ones with 41 for Santana. I don't know what it is, and I don't know the answer to it, but they've enacted a fee because they want to cut down on that. Now, I don't get that. What's your thoughts?
Here's my thing. First of all, in all sports, would come out to be, it'd be hey, I'll take you out for steak dinner. I'll give $1,000 to your charity in town. And sure, they switched their jerseys. They made the number big enough. Now, nothing against Carlos Santana or Joe Ryan, but say we made the big trade and got Vladimir Guerrero here. Vlad would pay your $250,000 fine to get his number for you.
Yep.
So unless you're getting the big name player, because I said the guys who are doing it, Carlos Santana, he's respected. He's been in the league. He's got street cred, but he ain't gonna make enough to pay for your $250,000 fee for switching jerseys.
But that's the point though. They're making a line in the sand to eliminate all the small players doing it, but
Did
only
the players know this beforehand, or they just kind of come out now and he said he wanted to switch uniforms?
Well, that's the reason this came up, and that's the reason I thought I'd bring it up for the show. Is it sounds like he was going to give him the jersey, and then that's when the brass came in and says, "Well, think if you read the small print on the new Nike jersey that you can't because you're now going to face a fee." And Joe Ryan's like, "Well, I'm not going to. If Carlos Santana wasn't going to pay that, and it was all said and done, but so they had a good joke about it, but they didn't know the fine print. It wasn't explained to them until just now. So my question is, who gets that money? Is it Major League Baseball or is it Nike? Who created the fee?
Yeah, who created the fee? And so, first of all, tip of the cap to Joe Ryan for being willing to do that.
Yeah, number one, it's awesome because he knew right away. You always respect your elders in the game. He comes in.
Pitchers are so superstitious to start with. Wait, I've had this number since I was 12. I ain't giving it up.
And Santana didn't ask for it. He just knew when he was going to come in the locker room. He said, I got to be prepared because he's probably going to ask for it. So what's my response going to be?
Yeah.
And they talked about it as a joke. And he goes, I'll give it to you. There's no strings attached. You can just have it. And they said, no, you can't do it. So that's the thing. And that may be a bonus episode or a down the road. But there is a fee starting this year. There never has been in the past. But you're right. They'd give a color TV, a brand new gold watch, a Rolex. They do
something, your charity or something like that. Or
they'd always make it worth your time to do it. But now there's a fee, so I don't know how that came about or why. But it's another. Once again, it's the fee that's big enough that someone's making money off a stupid jersey number change.
But so some of these guys now, once it's like off season, like in January for spring training, could you give up your number, or are you stuck with this number for 3 years now? I mean, Joe Ryan gets traded from the Twins. Someone else could get 41, obviously.
Yeah, I think
Let's say the start of next season comes and he's still a Twin. Can he change the numbers then? Like in December?
I don't know. I just found out about today because I know that in the past, I think it was Trevor Larnach, end of the season, just said new season last year. He wanted his number changed, and some guys randomly changed their number. Yeah. I think in fact, this year, it was Cole Sands, I think, got a new number, but it was one that wasn't taken, and he had been here. He wasn't swapping. Yeah. So I think they're putting it against the swapping of the jersey where you're changing and working a deal. So
if you do it for the years the numbers come out, I don't know why you couldn't, like I said in December, you couldn't change your number, go, I want to be number 46 instead.
Now, I don't believe that the team's media guides have not been printed as far as, is it causing an impact on reprinting those things?
And who cares?
The roster's not set yet. I mean, it's, so I don't know. Good point about the spring training roster when they assign the young guys that call them up, to play 2 or 3 weeks, whether they typically they won't make, but they'll assign the numbers. Who does that? Where do those numbers come from?
Okay. So you're Fred Smith, who's been down there. I've seen some spring training games this year. 2 guys had the same number.
Yes.
Now, okay, with that said, say they issue you number 78. Dan, you're wearing number 78 this year in spring training. Okay, you can call it in the middle of the year. Do you have to have 78 now?
Well, I don't think as a rookie, you have the the Gary Carter 57 jersey.
Yes.
Kent Hrbek came up with the 26 jersey.
Yep.
And I don't think as a rookie you have to come up with, or when you
Morneau
get called
was
up
27.
those years, that's the number. Now, when you have the following season and you're become a status of 1 year under your belt or whatever it is, then you can start maybe changing your numbers. I don't know, but if you get assigned it and you come up, that's it. I mean, that's the deal. Now, there's only 40 guys in camp, plus usually 19, 20, maybe 60, and they may beef it up to more than that or 70. But there shouldn't be a reason still to have two people at the same number, right?
I mean, I know it's becoming probably the Yankees and Cardinals because they retired everybody and their brother that played between the 20s and 40s. But still.
Yeah, that could be. You know what? It was the Twins game I was listening to was, I think, against the Red Sox, so they have two players of the same number. So maybe they do have that, but there shouldn't be running into too many of that, except for the lot of retirement jerseys. But football, you have that. College, you have it. You've got football, you've got all these guys, but baseball, and they do. Whoever comes up with a number, that's the number that you wear. Now, you don't make the team this year. Let's say you're a single A, double A guy. Next year, you get invited to training camp. You're still that same number, right? Or is they issue another one?
I've never noticed, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. So they issue the higher numbers, and then as you build up street cred, you can start, getting issued the lower number or pick your own or whatever. But the swapping of the numbers is something that's different. So that's just something this year. I think it has something to do with the Nike contract. I don't think it was Major League Baseball, but something about Nike being in charge of the numbers. They didn't want people swapping and switching out. So they incurred a fee. Once again, cha-ching, cha-ching. You raise a fee in a sport like, any kind of big sport where you have the wherewithal to write a check and do that. It's an easy way for the corporation to make the money off that for doing no work, except the only person who has the impact is the equipment manager, stitching the jersey or switching the name in the back or whatever. So that's really, it's minimal, but they don't allow it unless you pay the fee. So that's new this year.
Don't like it.
Now, Andy, we got a trivia answer.
Okay. I got a couple of guesses. Repeat the question again now.
Major League Baseball between 1965 and 1990. 25 years. Only one player has hit the 50 home run mark per season.
I think
only one in the 25-year history. Only one player has done it.
I think it was 91 or 92.
Once or twice, but only one player has done it.
I was 91 or 92 when Dawson did it with the Cubs.
Andre Dawson, good guess. That's not the right answer, but
it was early 90s. I think
this is 50 homers, and he was
McGuire doing 49 his rookie year, so it's not McGuire. Like Jim Rice?
Another good question. Good answer. Nope. Close.
I got nothing.
The answer is George Foster, Reds.
The Reds?
And George Foster's always kind of been a guy to fly under the radar, but imagine for 25-year span, you were the only player to hit 50 home runs or more in a season in a quarter of a century in Major League Baseball.
And he was a good batter, good power hitter, so it's like it was a fluke year for him. But yeah,
George Foster. And I think that's a great question.
We're going to
be covering. I want to be focusing, Andy, this later this week, and then the women's Big Ten basketball tournament, as far as maybe a bonus episode or a preview show or something. It's at Target Center, so it's fun. Following week is the men's, so I don't know how they got that back-to-back. First time probably ever, and maybe last time that's ever going to happen, but great for the Target Center to get that business. They're all sold out for the women's. I'm assuming
first time ever. First time ever for the women. And they're saying, it's sold out for Caitlin Clark. Okay, you knew she wasn't going to play the first 3 days, and those all sold out anyway, so.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun for those going to see her, to see the game. Whether the record's not broke, but that's going to bring in people in the seats, butts in the seats. But Ohio State, good team. Indiana's good. Iowa's good. The Gophers are not that good this year, but they got a chance to win that first game or two, and it's once again single elimination. You win, you advance. The winner automatically gets a bid to the NCAA. The at-large bids are also multiple teams will go from the Big Ten, but that should be fun to see. A lot of people in town this weekend for those tournaments.
Now, we did not mention all the high school wrestling results because, like I said, there is a lot. 3 classes, how many weight classes? We do all have them on our Facebook page, though.
I saw them. I reviewed those today. I saw that post. Very good. There's 13 weight classes. There's 3 divisions, so you're still dealing with 36 champions,
39,
3 teams. Good stuff. I went to the team, and there's a lot of tweets and posts on Facebook the day I went on Thursday at the team event. I didn't follow the individuals that well, but Andy, you made a lot of posts those days of who was advancing where and when and who did what, and some phenomenal wrestlers here in the state of Minnesota that have just wrapped up their career.
Boys and girls.
Boys and girls. Girls was all on Saturday, I think, right?
Yep. And some girls did wrestle with the boys, so there is some mixed in there too. So we'll get into that in a couple of weeks too. But that's all I got, man.
Wrestling, very good. Hockey, like you mentioned, hockey coming up, and the boys basketball sectionals, and but it should be fun to watch. That's all we've got here for this week. We'll have a good week, everyone. We'll be back next week.
See ya.
See ya.